Now that we've installed the panel that has both the pipe and the start of the valley in it, we're going to continue on. I'm going to take the measurements for the next panel, which is fully in the valley. Using the pre-marked square as we did before, we're going to transfer those measurements to the rear of the panel, make our cuts, hem it, and install it. I'm going to figure out where our 17 1/4 for the Lexington panel is right there. I'm going to transfer that so that I can measure up from the eave. And we know because it's a full panel that we're just taking our measurement from the inside, measuring up. So my first measure is at 23 1/2. I'm going to transfer this using the square factory edge and my square. And I know that my angle is from here to here. I'm going to join my two lines using the straight edge. And then I'm going to measure 1 inch out so that we have enough for a hem into the offset cleat. So I've got 1 inch there, inch there. I'm going to join these two, and then this will be my cut line. We now have a panel that's ready for the valley. As you can see, the valley angle has been cut into it. It's been hemmed 1 inch so that it can slot into the offset cleat. And there's one thing that I haven't done because I want to show you. There's two ways of finishing panel ends. They can be cut flush and left open, or you can leave it slightly long when you do the hem, and then you can finish it and fold it so that it's closed. If you're going to fold and close the opening in a valley, make sure that your folds are down slope so that ice and snow, as it moves down the valley, can't open up the folds. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cut up. This is the part that I'm going to be folding across the front. I'm going to take off the little clip because it makes it really hard for me to fold. And I'm just going to cut these tabs. You don't have to cut it in a specific way, but I'm cutting it so that I'm able to fold it in, which I'm doing now. You can use your fingers if you're wearing gloves, or you can use a hammer. This little tab I'm going to fold down. And then coming across the front here, I'm going to fold this, and then I'm just going to take off the excess and fold it closed. And there you have a nice closed panel end. The folds, again, are going in the direction, they're going down slope. And there you've got it. And I'll just make sure to trim this a little bit so that nothing can catch on it. Now that we have our panel finished for the valley, it's been hemmed and the panel end has been finished, we're going to install it. But before I do that, I want to share a quick tip with you. I've taken a piece of flat stock, as you can see here. I've covered the edges in duct tape, and this is going to slide up into the valley between the cleat and the pan of the valley. And what it does is it allows us to be a little bit more rough when we install the panel without scratching the valley. So what we're going to do is we slide it up. It's in place. Nothing's going to get scratched because the panel, as it slides up, is going to be scratching this piece of flat stock that we made. And it also helps to open the cleat a little bit because the cleats tend to get squished down as each panel gets installed. So this is going to help us quite a bit. So let's go ahead and install this panel. We're going to get it into place and we're going to mallet it down. First, we make sure to check that we're in line with our offset cleat and the panel before, which we are. So we're just going to get this in. Still want to check and make sure it hasn't dropped, which it did a little bit. Panel's down. Now I'm going to take out the piece of flat stock before we knock the panel down. And you can see here that if this hadn't have been there, these scratches and this kind of damage would have happened in the reveal of the valley. So it's a good tool to have and cheap to make. In the same way that we close the hem on the rake using a pair of hand seamers and a rag, we can do the same thing here along the eave. You don't have to completely squash it, but you can just get a gentle bend just to clean it up a little bit. If there's a bit too much thickness here, as you get to the offset cleat, you can use your hand. In the valley, we're going to use a piece of wood and a rubber mallet to tampen down the panel so that we don't leave any hammer marks. And there we have a really nicely finished valley. Panels are into the offset cleat, close to the surface. The eave has been finished with a seamer and a rag and our hands where we need to. And that's it. Thanks very much for watching, and if you have any questions, please reach out to your All-American Steel rep or shoot us a note through social media.